Well, hello, darling. Christopher here, aka Plant Queen, and I am the author of You Grow Girl, Plant Queen's Lush Guide to Growing Your Garden. So Queen, whether you're a plant obsessed or a total lush little newbie, I am here to help. This is Houseplant 101. Did you know that staghorn ferns don't need to be planted in soil to grow and thrive? Well, honey, here is how to mount your own. So queens, our green girls are living, breathing works of art, honey. And so when it comes to styling the plants I bring into my home, one of my favorite green girls to style is the staghorn fern. And yes, I do have a complicated relationship with ferns, but honey, Miss Staghorn Fern is one that is resilient, hardy, and quite easy to care for, okay? This queen is a tropical queen, native to Africa, Southeast Asia, Australia, and she actually grows on trees and neighboring plants as an epiphyte in a very harmonious way. And she gets her water and nutrients from the air, rain, and debris surrounding her. So darlings, we are going to get into one of my favorite DIY activities, and that is mounting the staghorn fern. You ready? Let's get into the lushness. So we have our staghorn. She is potted, but honey, she doesn't need that soil to grow, because what? She's an epiphyte. So now we shall depot the queen. And so what you want to do is just make sure that you are massaging the nursery pot to loosen up that soil. We don't want to damage her foliage by pulling on her. Oh, she comes out so nicely. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. So what we're going to do is massage the roots and just make sure that we get as much of the soil off of the root system as possible. So take your time. It's okay if you make a little mess. And so a little bit about the anatomy of this queen. She has two kinds of frond, the antler frond, and then you have the shield fronds right here. Thank you for being a frond. The antler fronds actually contain the spores that are the seeds to this plant. And then the shield fronds are actually responsible for taking in nutrients, water, as well as protecting the roots of this green girl. This soil is on there, child. So we are going to continue to massage. Take your time. Treat it like a little stress ball, all right? Therapeutic. It's okay to make a mess, honey. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And I'm just gonna do a little test here. Little test to see how this would work. And it's still a little high. Still a little high. Damn, this soil is really on there. Just gonna release the roots a little bit just to make her a little shorter. This is all her roots, honey. So she's looking very healthy and ready to go. And I think this is actually gonna work just fine. So now we are going to prep her new home, honey, where we're gonna have her hanging like the work of art she is. And so the first thing that you wanna do is figure out what you want to be the front and what you want to be the back. So I'm really enjoying this pattern right here. So this is gonna be the front of the board and this is gonna be the back of the board. The first thing that you wanna do is get you a little picture frame bracket. There we go, bam! And who said you can't be handy with a freshly manicured situation, honey? Fabulous. I'm just gonna make sure it's leveled so that you don't have your green girl on a slant. Ha! Woo! All right. So the next thing we're going to do is to prep the front of the board. And it's quite easy. What you're going to do is take the nursery pot, place it where you want to place your staghorn. You're going to take a little pencil and you're going to just draw a little circle. Ah! Fabulous. And so you should only need about 8 nails for this little situation. And so I'm just going to mark where I'll be placing the nails. So now we have 8 markings that are evenly centered in the circle, and these are where we're going to place the nail. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. As you can see, this would go straight through if I hammered it in too much. So I'm just going to be very mindful. I just love hammers. All right, if it goes through a little bit, then just hammer it on the other side. It's really simple, very easy. Looking good. It is looking good, honey. All right. The first thing that we're going to do is create a little layer of sphagnum moss. Now, this is dry sphagnum moss that I have dampened with some water. Make it very flexible and easy to work with. And you may need to wring it out a little bit. You don't want a lot of water going onto the board. And so what I'm going to do is create a little foundation on the wooden plank with the sphagnum moss. We don't want the root system going straight onto the wooden board. A little bed of moss for our Staghorn Fern, honey, a little bed of moss. All right, so I'll just pat this down a little bit. So now you want to make sure you're strategically placing the staghorn in a way so that when you hang her, she looks glorious, honey. So I'm just going to be mindful of how I'm placing her. And I want her to hang this way. I really enjoy this with her larger leaves kind of just like hanging down. Oh, I'm excited. And now what we're going to do is surround her root system with moss, all right? Now again, you want to wring out that moss so there's not too much moisture. This is going to create a nice little environment for her roots to continue to grow and also protect her roots from outside elements. Now we just want to give this queen a little squeeze to make sure that moss is nice and tight around that root system. We cannot see any exposed root, which is what you want, and she is looking absolutely lovely. These shield fronds are going to eventually engulf this moss, and that's what we want. We're giving her a lot of playground to continue to spread those shield fronds and to spread her roots. So now, I'm gonna take my twine and tie this onto the very first nail, all right? Tie a nice tight knot. And now I'm gonna zigzag this twine all over, making sure that I tie knots onto every single nail. And I'm probably gonna do it a couple times just to make sure that she's secure onto this plank. Now again, you do wanna be careful with her shield fronds, all right? Because if you do it too tight, you'll damage the shield frond, and that's not what we want. And do not be afraid to zigzag, honey. Do not be afraid to zigzag. You don't want her falling off the wall. All right, she's getting there. All right, she's getting there, darling. So I'm going to tie this off. And as you can see, I've zigzagged a lot, right? And it's just to make sure she's secure. Oh my God. Yes, honey. Now look at that. She's looking absolutely amazing. She's pretty secure. So if you find at a certain point that she seems to be losing her grip, then you may want to take some additional twine and just secure her a little bit more. But darling, I feel like this is pretty good to go. And so now that our queen is looking all absolutely fantastic and is striking a pose, come on girl, all right. The easy way to water this queen is by taking the queen off the wall and placing her in your shower and letting the water fall over the entire plant. And so this allows for the antler fronds, the shield fronds, and the moss to get wet, as well as the roots. And I would run the water over this queen for about, and this is like tepid water. You don't want ice water, you don't want hot water. You want room temperature water, tepid water. And I typically leave her in the shower for about 5 minutes. let the water run over her. I'll leave her in the bath, let her dry, and then I'll place her back onto my wall. And so for this queen, they really enjoy humidity and moisture. I have one in my bathroom, and every time I take a shower, she gets a nice dose of humidity, and she's doing lovely. And so if you have a bright bathroom, please, that's the perfect spot. That is the scene this queen wants to be in. But if you have another bright wall, then you just want to make sure that you are watering her about every week, because she will dry out pretty quickly. And a way to test is to either just feel the moss, and if the moss is really dry, then she probably needs water. So a touch test, or you can do a weight test. And so what you can do is right after you water her, get familiar with that weight and what that feels like versus when she's dry and she needs a little drink, okay? And so there you have it, Queen. We have Miss Staghorn Fern looking absolutely lovely as the piece of living, breathing art that she is. And honey, she is ready to go on a wall, darling. Damn, that looks good. That looks really good. Darlings, there we have it. We have successfully mounted Miss Staghorn Fern. It was easy, wasn't it? She's glorious, she's lush, and she's secure on that wall, honey. Darling, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Handmade for more plant tips like this.